Commander Zethkar of the Hegemony Survey Fleet gazed at the blue-green world through the observation deck's crystalline viewport. For 3 rotations, his ships had maintained position in the outer system, their sensors sweeping the 3rd planet, with methodical precision. The preliminary reports had been unanimous. No intelligent life detected. Another garden world ripe for colonization, his second-in-command, Velnara, observed as she approached with the final survey data. The indigenous fauna appears primitive. Carbon-based bipeds in the early stages of tool use. The Hegemony Council will be pleased. Zethkar's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. The Hegemony had claimed 47 worlds in the past century, each one devoid of true civilization. Their criteria were simple. Any species capable of faster-than-light communication or travel was considered intelligent. Without these markers, worlds were classified as uninhabited and available for annexation. Begin preparation for the first wave of colonization ships, Zethkar commanded. Standard terraforming protocols. The native life forms will adapt or perish. As the massive Hegemony vessels powered their engines and began their descent toward Earth's atmosphere, none of them noticed the small metallic objects orbiting silently in the dark between Mars and Jupiter. Humanity's deep space monitoring stations had been watching, recording, and preparing. In the depths of Cheyenne Mountain, General Sarah Chen stood before a wall of displays showing the approaching alien fleet. 37 ships, each one the size of a city, bristling with weapons that could level continents. The assembled leaders of Earth's united government watched in tense silence. "They think we're primitives," Dr. James Harrison, the head of SETI, said quietly. "Our radio emissions, our basic electromagnetic signatures, to them we must look like we're still throwing rocks at each other." General Chen's expression was grim. "They're not entirely wrong. We don't have FTL drives or quantum communicators. But they've made one critical error in their assessment." "Which is?" asked President Martinez. "They assume that because we can't speak across the stars, we can't speak at all." The first Hegemony landing craft touched down in what had once been Kansas. Zethkar himself led the ground expedition, expecting to encounter nothing more threatening than scattered tribes of hunter-gatherers. Instead, they found empty cities stretching to the horizon, roads that crisscrossed continents, and an eerie silence that made his sensory organs twitch with unease. "Where are the inhabitants?" Velnara whispered through their communication implants. The abandoned settlements showed signs of recent occupation, vehicles still warm, food still fresh in storage facilities, but no living beings anywhere. Zethkar was about to respond when the sky erupted in fire. The first missile struck the lead, landing craft before the Hegemony's sensors could even register the incoming threat. Then came the second, and third, and 100th. From hidden silos buried beneath the prairie, from submarines lurking in Earth's vast oceans, from mobile launchers racing across empty highways, humanity spoke its first words to the stars. They spoke in the language of thermonuclear fusion. High above, the Hegemony fleet found itself surrounded by what their sensors initially dismissed as primitive chemical rockets. Too slow for interstellar travel, too crude for advanced warfare. The dismissal lasted exactly 37 seconds, until the first wave of missiles reached their targets and converted matter into pure energy. Commander Zethkar watched in horror as 3 of his battleships simply ceased to exist, vaporized, by weapons that shouldn't have been possible for a pre-FTL civilization. His command ship's defensive system screamed warnings as thousands more projectiles streaked toward them through the void. How? Velnara's voice carried through the chaos as another ship died in nuclear fire. They have no quantum drives, no antimatter cores, no hyperdimensional arrays. On Earth's surface, Zethkar received his answer as a formation of aircraft screamed overhead, primitive atmospheric craft that somehow carried weapons capable of cracking his landing force's armor, like shell casings. As he watched his soldiers fall to projectiles that moved at merely chemical velocities, he realized the magnitude of the hegemony's miscalculation. These creatures had turned the fundamental forces of their universe into weapons. Without exotic, matter or dimension-bridging technology, they had learned to split atoms themselves, to harness the power that lit their star. Where the hegemony built elegant quantum resonance chambers, humanity had built engines of barely contained destruction that could level mountains. The last transmission from Earth reached the retreating hegemony ships as they limped toward the edge of the system, their fleet reduced to less than half its original number. It came not through quantum entanglement or hyperspatial networks, but through simple electromagnetic radiation, the most primitive form of communication known to galactic civilization. Yet the message burned across the cosmos with unmistakable clarity. This is Earth. We received your visit. We are returning the courtesy. When you tell the Hegemony Council about us, make sure they understand. We may not speak your language yet, but we are fluent in violence. We have turned the stars themselves into our voice, and every fusion fire that lights our enemies' funeral pyres is another word in our growing vocabulary. We are humanity. We are not silent. We simply had nothing to say to you until now. As the battered alien fleet disappeared into hyperspace, carrying news of the impossible world where primitives wielded stellar fire like children might wield sticks, Earth began construction of its first interstellar vessels. They would be crude things, fusion-powered and slow compared to the elegant ships of the hegemony, but they would carry the fire that had announced humanity's existence to the galaxy, and when they reached the stars, the universe would learn that silence and weakness were not the same thing. Humanity had spoken at last, and their words burned bright enough to light the way to the cosmos.